Hello everyone, my name is Tanya from Nana's Crafty Home. Today's tutorial is going to show you how to crochet the flower puff stitch. This stitch is part of my Spring Rhapsody Blanket Crochet Along Stitch tutorial series, and you can find more details about that blanket and crochet along at my website at nanascraftyhome.com. I'll have a link below in the description for you if you'd like to head on over there to get more details. This stitch is, I would say, more of an intermediate pattern. We are working a front post puff, so we're working a puff stitch around a double crochet from a previous row, which creates this really beautiful texture, and it's a lot of fun to work. So I think for an adventurous beginner, you will have all the information you need to try this stitch out. For today's tutorial, I am using some I Love This Cotton from Hobby Lobby in green and pink. I'm also using a Clover size H 5.0 millimeter crochet hook. Let's go ahead and get started. This stitch is worked in multiples of 3 plus 2 for your foundation chain, and my foundation chain is going to be a total of 29. 1, 2, 3, 4. Row 1 is a row of single crochets, and I'm going to work 1 single crochet in the second chain from the hook, and then in each chain to the end. Once I've completed my row of single crochets, I'm going to turn for row 2, chain 3, double crochet in the same stitch, the base of that chain 3, skip 2 stitches and work 3 double crochets in the next stitch. Skip 2, 3 double crochets in the next, and that is your repeat for this row. So continue that on down. When you get to the last 3 stitches, you're going to skip the next 2 stitches and work 2 double crochets in your last stitch. Now we are not going to turn for row 3, and I'm going to be working my flower puff stitch in this next row. But I'm going to be attaching my color B to the first stitch of row 2. So that chain 3 that I worked at the beginning, I'm going to attach color B, and I'm going to chain 3. I'm going to double crochet in the next stitch, chain 2, and work a front post puff stitch over that middle double crochet of that double crochet group from the previous row. I'm going to call this a double crochet group, which will represent the 3 double crochets worked into the same stitch. So my front post puff is going to be worked around that middle double crochet of that group. Now to work that front post puff stitch, I'm going to yarn over and insert my hook around that double crochet post, yarn over and pull up a loop. I'm going to pull that loop up kind of high, just slightly shorter than that double crochet I just worked, and I'm going to repeat those steps 3 more times, yarning over, inserting my hook, yarning over and pulling up a loop, yarning over, inserting my hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, insert my hook, yarn over and pull up a loop. And when you've done that 4 total times, you're going to have 9 loops on your hook. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So I've worked all of those loops for that front post puff. I'm going to now yarn over and pull through 8. That will leave me with 2 loops on my hook. I'm going to yarn over and pull through the remaining 2 loops. And I've just completed my first front post puff stitch. Now I'm going to chain 3, and I'm going to work another front post puff stitch around the middle double crochet of that double crochet group from the previous row. And I'm going to be repeating that all the way down my row. So repeating those same steps, working a front post puff. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, yarn over, pull through 8, yarn over, pull through 2, chain 3. And you're going to be repeating that all the way down your row. When you've completed your last front post puff stitch, you're going to chain 2 and work a double crochet in those last 2 stitches. Now, you could, I fastened off color A after row 2, but you could go ahead if you wanted to and complete your double crochet with, pick that back up, because you're going to turn now and we're going to be picking up color A again and working row 4 with color A. So I'm going to be bringing it in again, changing color and turning for row 4. For row 4, I'm going to chain 2. This will not count as a stitch, and I'm going to work a half double crochet in that same stitch. Now I'm going to work 3 long or elongated double crochet, and I'm going to be working those over this chain space in between this double crochet group and these 2 double crochets here. So I'm going to work a double crochet by yarning over, and I'm going to insert my hook in between that double crochet group and these 2 double crochets down below, and I'm going to be working over that chain space and completing a double crochet. And I'm going to work 2 more in that same space. I'm going to skip over that next front post puff, and I'm going to work 3 long double crochets in the space between these 2 double crochet groups over this chain 3 space. And I'm going to repeat that on down my row. I'm going to be working 3 long double crochets in each of these spaces between these double crochet groups. And let's see what that does on the front side of our work. And see the difference. By placing those double crochets down below in between these double crochet clusters, it really highlights this puff stitch, really pushes it forward and highlights it and just gives it a beautiful texture. When I get to the end of my row, I'm going to be working 3 double crochets in between those 2 double crochets and this double crochet group. And now I'm going to work 1/2 double crochet in my final stitch. Change to color B again. For row 5, I'm going to chain 3, and I'm going to work a front post puff stitch over that middle double crochet. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Chain 3, front post puff over the next middle double crochet of that double crochet group. And chain 3, and continue that on down, working a front post puff in the middle double crochet of each of these double crochet groups. When you've completed your last front post puff, you're going to work a double crochet in your last stitch. For row 6, I've changed to color A, turn, chain 3, double crochet in that same stitch, and now I'm going to skip over that first front post puff and work 3 long double crochets in between those double crochet groups from 2 rows previously and over that chain 3 space. And you're going to work 3 long double crochets in between each of the double crochet groups. And once you've worked that final group of 3 double crochets, you're going to work 2 double crochets in your last stitch. So to continue on in your pattern, you're going to be repeating rows 3 through 6 to the desired size. As you can see, I've completed several rows in the pattern, and look at how vividly textured this is. That really puts that puff forward, really highlighting it and just giving this a beautiful texture. Look how far that pops out of your fabric. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial today. Thanks so much for being with me. As always, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, and Twitter. You can also reach out to me by email at nanascraftyhome@gmail.com. And don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you never miss a new video. Thanks so much for being here with me. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.